the SLA, service level agreement, was largely used to describe like uptime for your servers. Like these hosting companies, like, yeah, we guarantee 99.999% uptime. And that was the SLA. And we're like, that's a good terminology for the marketing and sales. Let's create a data agreement between the two. And so that's kind of the first step is we need to get sales and marketing in the room together and decide two things. Number one, what is a callable lead? Like what's a lead that counts? And like how much credit do we get for that? And then number two, what is sales going to do if we find one of those? Like what's our end of the bargain? So it's sort of like a bi-directional thing, right? So the first version of it was simple. I mean, and we can talk, John, about like, I think we have to talk about it differently if you're selling like $10,000 a year deals, which is kind of transactional, versus if you're selling $1 million deals. Mm-hmm. This one's tricky, and I can talk about what I know so far about it, but I don't think we've really nailed it. But this one I think is a lot easier, the $10,000 deals. So we knew that like for every like 200 inquiries on the website, like every 200 form fills that happen in say a month on the website, we knew that 100 were callable leads, where we defined a callable lead, and we could dig into that based on like a certain like between 20 and 2,000 employee size in the US and in these verticals, right? So great, that's an MQL. And then we also knew that if we deploy a salesperson against them and the salesperson follows the playbook, they'll connect with half of them and they'll turn 30% of those into an opportunity and close 25% of those for a $10,000 ACV contract. So you could just do math at that point, given like the required quota of the rep of like how many leads do they need every month to be able to hit that. So that's a starting point where honestly, if you can get there, then you're in the top 10%, in my opinion, of like sales and marketing teams. But it actually didn't quite cut it for us because not all MQLs in that definition are created equal. You know what I mean? Like we had situations where like we had a low-level marketer at a good company come in and download an ebook. That's great. Like I think too many people throw those away. That's great. It's all about the type of company. Like let sales do their job to get to power, but that's great, right? So that counted. We also had CMOs and CEOs who requested a demo, right? So like that's even better. And in fact, by the math, the close rate on those was like 3 times higher, right? In half the time. And so we had to account for that somehow, because anytime that marketing fell behind on their SLA, it was actually a lot easier to get the low-level marketer to download an ebook and much harder to get the CMO to request a demo. So all the calls to action navigated toward the ebook downloads when they fell behind. And sales was like, what the heck? So we had to kind of calibrate, like based on the role of the person and their engagement. We almost did a 3x3 matrix of like ABC in terms of role and ABC in terms of engagement. And the AA was the CMO doing the demo request, and the CC was the marketing associate downloading the ebook. Both callable leads with a very different outcome. And so if you just multiply the close rate of that segment by the average purchase price, you actually get a precise lead value, right? And so the AA leads, the CMOs who download to do the demo, they gave the marketing team like $100 of credit, and the CC leads gave them $10 of credit, right? So now we went from like, hey, Volpe, we need 500 MQLs this month, to hey, Volpe, we need 1 million of lead value. And I don't really care if you get there from the $100 AAs or the $10 CCs. We're going to make our number. But that up-leveling step up, like a step up on how we thought about giving marketing credit for their work.